you said that huge key word, ooh, boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny. Nobody wants to admit this. However, every single person I've worked with has a little dose of codependency in them.
Oh, totally.
And yeah, the people pleasing, the lack of boundaries. And then there's also the very untalked about side of codependency, and that's the other person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, if it's the man, I call him the knight in shining armor. Or if it's the woman, she's the fixer. She's got the lists and she's got the, to do things, and she's got it all ABC and every box is checked and, very type A, right? That's that person. They are the knight in shining armor. They are the one that this fantasy, the person over here has had a fantasy of this person their whole life, and a lot of people get involved in relationships where they have to fix, right?
Yep.
They have to fix the other person. They don't have self-worth, so you feel sorry for them. So you can see their potential and want to help them. And people fall in love with potential more than they ever want to admit or realize. And it's like you can see the potential in this person, but that doesn't mean that A, they want to live up to it, or B, they're going to make the choices that you want
Yes.
them to make to live up to what you think their potential is, right? So, yeah, codependencies all over the place. But the one answer to all of it is boundaries. And it's so hard for people. It was so hard for me too to learn how to say no. No, I have
Yep.
to actually put myself first right now.
Well,
It's not easy.
no, it's not. And I think I've gotten really good at boundaries, except
Hmm.
with work, but I've gotten a lot better with
Okay.
work. So I will give myself that. I've gotten a lot better. But I think with boundaries, what helped me is when I really started controlling what I can control with that.
Mhm.
And that means that just because someone did texted me, I don't just because it's the most important thing to them in the moment doesn't mean it's the most important thing to me. And
Right.
yeah, and in that
And
moment,
on the opposite side of things, just because somebody hasn't texted you does not mean that you are unimportant.
right.
Ooh, how often do we fill in that blank?
Well, we
Where,
don't. And
yeah,
that's the thing. And I think this is, man, that we could probably deep dive into this the whole time. But like, I think that's kind of the whole situation we're in dating and relationships in general, is that we live in a world with instant gratification on Instagram, TikTok, the internet. Answer any
yep.
question. Now it's getting even faster with AI, right? Because now
Oh,
you don't even have to go research. You can just ask AI and it'll tell you, chat
yeah.
GPT, right?
Or do it
And
for you.
or do it for you. And so I think like we're at this weird place where, because we have such instant gratification, and dating apps also are part of this, right? That we
Hmm.
have this society where it's moving towards this instant, continues to move towards this instant gratification, and leaves out the human piece of it, which is the
Oh,
emotional piece of it, which is
totally.
the human experience, which is
There's
the,
so
you
much
know,
to that. Yes,
yeah.
yes. And yeah, because, okay, so I've talked to a lot of girlfriends about this, right? You are solely judging this person like only on a 5-second screenshot, right? Where you don't, you, I encourage people to do this. Imagine having a conversation with this person. That's why I encourage a bunch of pictures, doing things you love, close ups, far away, whatever you have to do to get a variety of who you are. That way, pretend you're in a conversation with this person before you swipe right or left, because they could be hot as hell but can't hold a conversation because the only thing that they are showing you is obviously that they are, I
It's
don't
what they're
know,
leading
just,
with.
yes, yes. We know what I'm saying. So, or if you've got somebody on the other end of things where all you've got are a whole bunch of fishing pictures, if you're not into fishing, that's going to send the wrong message, guys. So you want a big variety because we're not just all one thing. No guy is just fishing and that's it.
Yeah.
Throw some variety in there and pretend you're having a conversation with this person. Because if they're interesting, could you go to that next phone call at least?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Instead of just skimming by on somebody's looks, right? Because you might be missing out on a diamond in the rough, right?
Yep.
You might really be missing out.
You know what's funny is back when I was on dating apps, which I haven't been on a dating app since before Love is Blind, which is now 3 years ago. And I used to read the profiles and like look at the pictures on Hinge,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Or Bumble, right? And
Right.
why did I
Yeah.
do that? Because I wanted to see what they were saying in their prompts and what they were doing in their photos. And is this stuff that I would enjoy doing, or is this something
Yes.
that I think we would have in common, or is this a deal breaker? So like if I go see someone who's skydiving would be, or fishing is its own thing, but like skydiving, I'm like, I am terrified of heights. I get sick if
There you
I'm,
go.
in a
And
situation where
that's
I'm up too high.
misalignment. Total
Misalignment.
misalignment.
But people don't even read the profiles, and that would be the thing that I
I
would
know.
learn. Like, what do you like? Read the profile.
So the last time I was on a dating app, it was pretty funny because I actually said in there, I am not into small talk whatsoever.
Me
So if you
neither.
cannot come with depth, please do not initiate the conversation. I do not want to talk about how my weekend was, what I have going on this week, or what's going on next weekend. I am not dating to talk about my schedule. That's for work. I don't want to date to talk about my schedule. So if you can't come with something deeper than what'd you do last weekend, or got anything big going on next weekend, big plans for this week, come
So
on.
boring. It's
So
funny because
boring.
my therapist is pushing me to like date really
Okay,
hard.
I can see that. I can see why.
Yeah.
I can see why.
And so I tell her, I'm like, I broke it down to, because now it's like, well, maybe I'm going to do matchmaking, which maybe we can get your thoughts on that. But
Okay.
what I said to her is like, here's the deal. At the end of the day, when it's 8, 9 o'clock, when I'm finished with all of the things that I've been doing for work, for the UCAN Foundation, for all of these things, my podcast, which I produce
Yep.
myself, all of this stuff. Do
You're
I really see
exhausted.
myself having small talk on Hinge, and like asking someone how their day was, and then providing no context to it, or vice versa, or the weekend
Yeah, and have
conversation?
have that go on for like 5 days, and then you finally have had maybe an eighth of a conversation in 5 days.
With no context, no
Mm-hmm.
anything. No, I mean, that sounds horrible. And so I said, that sounds horrible to me. And I'd actually much rather just be there by myself than forcing myself to do that with 5 people on a dating app.
Yes. I have a much better approach for you, if you will.